Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Renovation and Outdoor Living Thursday. This is the Thursday special. Why the Thursday special? Well, because it's Thursday, and because we normally do the second show in the week on a Friday, so this one's special. Hence the Thursday special. And if you enjoyed watching it normally on Friday and you wish this was a Friday, well, the good news is just tell yourself it is a Friday, and then when your Sunday comes around, it'll actually only be Saturday. So you'll get a long weekend out of this, which is a win for everyone. If you're confused, me too. Oh, and by the way, it's also World Renovation Day today. Now, if you are watching, I think it was a show we did in June or July, we have our top 10. Well, the top 10 on that particular day was top 10 weird special days. And we noticed that there was no World Renovation Day. So we chose one at random, and it was September the 3rd, which is today. So that's another good reason why we wanted to do the show today. Although, to be honest, between you and me, it was just complete coincidence. So a quick recap of Tuesday's show. Now, on Tuesday, we were outside for the show. We were talking first about edging, or more specifically, we were talking about Straight Curve New Zealand, or we were talking to Straight Curve New Zealand, a company which specializes in garden edging. And we learned about this brilliant flexible steel range that they have. That it takes no preforming, takes no rolling. So it makes the job of edging as easy as it can be. And the result is you get smart and longer lasting edging than more traditional wooden edging solutions. Then we spoke to Vaughan Mackenzie Brown, a landscape architect who works with Kate Ryan, that's at Zone Central in Auckland. And he was talking about playing with levels, how to maximize your sloping section or your uneven section with different levels, how to make a feature of each of those levels. And we covered off the design, materials, the retaining, and also the seamlessness of that journey, which he tries to get for his clients through the multiple levels of a garden. So, and if you want to catch up on either of those topics, you can go to our YouTube page or look back on the Refresh website. But for today, well, it's prize draw day. So this is Father's Day, the two big prizes which we've been advertising for the last couple of weeks. It's a random draw if you've liked the page and done what we asked. The first was the Makita blower kit, worth $399, and the second was the Amazon Echo Story 5, which Schneider Electrics have given us. We're going to be drawing those very soon, so if you want to be in, then hopefully you've got your entry in. Have a watch, though, and you'll find out if you've been lucky enough to get one of those two prizes. So first today, before we get to that, where to start when it comes to renovating? And, well, one short answer is the Home Ideas Centre. I don't know if you've heard of it. This is it's a central Auckland destination hub for anyone building spaces for living and working. They basically connect the dots. They create an ecosystem of brands, homeowners, developers, and industry groups. And the owner is Mr. Hugh Keller, which is why we've got his photo up on the screen. And Hugh is, I'm hoping, going to be able to join us now from. Hello, Hugh. How are you going?
Hey, Rawdon. Great. Thank you for having me.
No, not at all. Good to see you. Now, you're not the founder of this company, are you? This is what I've heard. This is like, I love the company so much I bought it story.
That's exactly right. In fact, the business has been running for 20 years, Rawdon, which is much longer than I've been around, of course, as you can see. But 2 years ago, actually, I bought the Auckland business from Colin and Philippa Lowry, who were wanting to retire. I'd used Home Ideas myself. So had been a customer for renovations and so on, and thought it was such a great resource. And coupled with an interest in design that I've got, I could see the practicality of what it provided, and I could see some great options for the future of the business. So as you say, the Gillette story, which I could do with, as you can see, I bought the business.
That's fantastic, and that was a couple of years ago. Since then, where have you put most of your energy into? What have you transformed about the business since you've taken over? What is your area?
Well, there's been a couple of main areas of focus, actually. So one was the look and feel of the showroom and the nature of the showrooms and the exhibits that we have. Increasingly, we find that our visitors come with quite a wealth of information from kind of online resources. I mean, not unlike what we're doing right now. But they come in with a certain set of information, often too much information, but still are wanting to touch and feel and experience the products that are going to go into their homes. They're going to live with them for quite some time. They want that kind of validation. They want to look at the finishes. They want to feel the weight. They want to see how the doors run. They want to see what the surface looks like in a large sample.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because you bought this at a time when there was still a big drive to getting everything, digital, versatile, online, and yet you actually turned around and said, no, what people really want, they're in research, but they actually still want to come and actually have that tactile feel and touch. Hence the showroom thing, and it's obviously worked for you.
Well, look, it is, and funny enough, I actually come from that digital background, Jordan, and actually from a digital marketing background. So, in fact, I've owned and run an ISP in the past, so I really do understand that side of things. But the solid, real product side of things is still a really important part of existence. I mean, face to face is still an important part of communication. This is fantastic, and also it's great to have this adjunct. And I think particularly when you're typically spending a lot of money on doing a renovation and so on, you need that level of trust. You need to know what products are actually available in the market, what they actually look like. And we often find that our visitors are surprised by what they see and change their minds about a particular selection or something that they hadn't necessarily thought about, that they realise they need to consider in their project.
That's really interesting, isn't it? But so people obviously come just to be able to have a look at what, because you basically collect them together. It's different from a shop, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So in our instance, the brands pay us to be on show. So it's free for the visitors to come. We've always got kind of in excess of 100 brands on show. In fact, interestingly, about 60% of the visitors that come into the showroom are return visitors. So they might be coming back for their next project. So they might not have been in here for, say, 5 years. Or they come back throughout their project. They come the first time to have a good look around, look at all the brands, everything that's on show. Often their first question is, what's new? Typically, our visitors spend about an hour and a half here, but then others do come in just to make a selection for their bench top. But yeah, so they come in, they'll walk around, gather a bit of inspiration, find out, what's new in surfaces, what's new in home automation, what's the latest in tapware and so on. Go away with the brochures and then spend time actually taking those to their designer or to their architect or just to their builder, and then they might come back 2 or 3 times after that to validate their choice or to really choose whether they wanted the grey or the black, for example.
It's amazing. I genuinely think, because we just don't see this anymore, this idea of being able to go and to make a choice visually and touch and see and read. And as far as expertise goes, do the brands have their people there in the showroom, or do you have a team who are all well versed in the various brands? How does that work when it comes to advice?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little bit of both. So it's actually an unmanned showroom. So the benefit of that, of course, is you're not getting the hard sell. So you really can take your time and have kind of an open discussion with your significant other as you're sort of going around. But we do, so our people who manage the showroom typically can guide. We don't have the deep product knowledge. And now that is provided. Some of the brands do have people here at various times. For example, they might have a rep here on the weekend, but then others have a lot of information that's available through touch screens and even audio-visual connections back to their call centers and so on. But yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed model, Ron. So really it's about sort of you take your time, browse, learn. We have a whole lot of seminars that we run too throughout the year where people will come purely for education. So we've got a 100-seat conference centre, which of course is not much use to us in level 2 with the maximum of 10 people at the moment. So those are on pause just for the moment out of an abundance of caution, of course. But typically we run those every couple of weeks throughout the year. All sorts of topics. In fact, Refresh Renovations run some great ones about how to manage your renovation from start to finish. But it's about education again, rather than a hard sell.
And again, it's a great idea because it just takes that pressure off. Now it becomes for your consumers, for us, This now becomes an experience. It becomes an afternoon out at the weekend or whatever, and it's saying, come on, let's go and have a wander. No one's going to try. We're not going to buy anything today. We're going to go and have a look, and we'll get a much better idea. Mainly, do you find, the mum and dad renovators like us who are looking for those ideas before we then talk to someone like Refresh to take on the project?
Yes, look, it's a great way of actually getting yourself informed too and feeling confident about speaking to the professionals. I think most people increasingly use someone to help with, their renovation and their build. It's just too much money and too complex, from the start to the finish. But it's great to be an informed client of those organisations, say of Refresh or whatever else. Most people have got opinions about, what colours they want, how they want their living spaces to function. They will know best. So actually understanding what is available, some of the new technologies, and actually really thinking about how you might apply that to your life is a great way of getting really engaged and informed before you embark on the project, and then through the project, just to validate what you've been thinking, what you've been told, whether there's some other things that you haven't thought about as you've got into your project.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, we know what we want to see and, how we want spaces to work, but we don't know how to make that happen. So that's exactly the process works for us. We can go and look and say, those are the tiles we want. We can talk to the experts as to how the heck they can, whether they can actually get them where we want them to be. Tell me about, we've had a good look at a lot of the slides which have been coming up, the pics have been coming up. We've got a good idea of what sort of products you cover. Tell us about the share. I mean, you said you got 100 products, so that's a heck of a range.
Yes, look, it is. And we really do try and keep a good range across kind of anything that you might need for your build or your renovation project, from kitchen or bathroom surfaces, taps, showers, windows and doors, home automation, cladding, that we've got a really lovely charred cedar on display, which is getting a lot of interest, flooring, blocks and paving, of course, with sort of, as we've come into spring now, people's thoughts are turning to their outdoor zone, getting into how the indoor-outdoor piece is going to work. Fold-away beds are very, very popular, from a space-saving perspective. So anything from that kind of floor level up, right through heating, cooling, all those sort of things that often you might not think about immediately, but this is a good opportunity to prompt your thinking about what you might need to consider in your project.
Yeah. Fold-away beds. So I posted this on my in my other life, my real estate life, on my real estate website the other day, and it's a sofa which transforms in about 10-15 seconds into a bunk bed. It's absolutely genius. Have you got one of those in the showroom?
Yeah, actually, we've got two sets of brands in here, actually. We've got Asco and we've got Hidden Beds. In fact, I was talking to a couple this morning, in fact, only an hour ago. They've shifted house. They want somewhere for the grandkids to be able to come and stay, but they don't want the room set up permanently for the grandkids because they're in a smaller place. So they were thrilled to discover the beds. They spent ages playing with them, pulling them up and pushing them down. So, those are the sort of things that you actually can't really do online. You actually need to feel the weight, how the mechanism works. You need to realise you can leave the bed clothes on as you push the bed away and so on, and really just see the finished quality and so on of what you're about to buy. We've even got a working lift on display too, Rawdon, which actually it's kind of like the stairway going nowhere because it goes from the floor to our 4.5 metre ceiling, but you get the sense of what it's like to be in as you go up to the ceiling and come back down and so on.
Yeah. Oh wow, it sounds like an amazing place. I can't believe I haven't actually been. About samples, do you find that is it difficult nowadays when people want to take away, a little bit of think about flooring products maybe, or is that something else which you can work in?
Yes, it is. So, I mean, for certain of the products like sort of Meltica or the laminates and so on, where it's cost effective, people can take away the samples. For some of the more expensive products, obviously, it becomes a bit cost prohibitive for the brands to be distributing hundreds of samples. But we do have sample boards, and particularly if you're working with a professional, they're able to access those side of things. Otherwise, we provide access through iPads on the displays, for example, or through connection with the brands themselves to order the samples to be delivered directly to your home or to your place of work. But the good thing is that you can actually see really good size samples. So what we're looking at now is the laminate display setup there, but also you can see just to let much larger samples of their products. So if you're looking at some of the big surface products that might end up being your kitchen bench or your splashback or whatever else it is, it's very hard to select that from a small sample. You really need to be able to see a good 1 meter by 1 meter or larger piece, and that's what people do. So they come in and they'll look at the large samples, they'll bring their swatch, their colour swatch in, and they'll see what really suits them. And often people change their minds from what they've looked at online or looked at in small samples when they realise exactly that the vein that they're looking at running through the product is actually much heavier than they expected, or it's slightly grayer than they expected, and they can really make a good quality choice because they're going to be living with it for a long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've got to pick you up on something, because you said that your background is IT. You're an IT expert, a marketing expert. You also mentioned the fact that people will go away armed with their brochures. But I'm assuming you also therefore have, I mean, is it that people like to have something to actually physically hold, or can they actually, if they want to, go online and do all this? And you mentioned the fact that you can go online and order your samples, but can they go online and do all their research once they leave?
Yes, it's a really good question, actually, and it's a shifting pattern in that a lot of people do like the brochures because they are very well constructed. Typically, you get lots of samples on one page, and you get the full story, you get the measurements, and they're easy to use. So you can kind of lay them out on the kitchen table and contrast and compare. But then, of course, there's other people who perhaps can't physically come into the store and the showroom in Parnell, or they simply want to send them on to someone else, or they simply don't want the paper. So yes, on our website, we've got a shopping cart type experience where basically you go through and you select all the brands and the products that you're interested in, and then you submit that, and that sends you back an email with all the links to the individual brochures and products that you've requested. So you have them all in one place, and then you can deal with those at your leisure. And you can do both, of course. A lot of people come in-house and then think, oh, actually, I was interested in that product, but I didn't pick up the brochure, so they can go through and request the brochure online.
Did you have a difficult time over the lockdown? I mean, given the fact that your whole business is about visiting, or were people still able to engage with you? Because we've heard a lot about how busy this has got, and people would have been sitting at home saying, "Now's the time. I need to go and go and see Hugh."
Well, look, actually, it is pretty challenging over lockdown from actually enabling people to come into the showroom. From a consumer or a residential perspective, we did have quite a bit of construction going on, actually, but they did manage to do a lot on our website in terms of accessing the brochures, and we were pretty active on our digital channels as well. But since the lockdown, we have been, like, our visitor numbers were 77% up in July of 2020 on July a year ago. So, and we're hearing some really great stories, Rawdon, and actually I'm very confident for the industry, for jobs, and ultimately the economy as a whole. We have got a lot of people who are coming through with really great positive stories about what they're doing. We've got people who are saying, look, we've got a little bit of money set aside. We feel that we should spend it because we can, and really help to support New Zealand. We've got people who are saying, we're not going to be travelling this year. It makes so much more sense to actually redo the kitchen or make sure that our outdoor space works at an optimal level because we're spending so much more time. We've got people who come back from overseas. There was a couple who spent 10 years in Texas I spent some time with the other day. They're doing a place in the Coromandel and another one in Tauranga. They've come back, they said, well, look, we wondered what took us 10 years really now that we're here. But look, so lots of really positive stories. And, you know, we're hearing great things from our brands too in terms of a level of activity. And I think we're quite a good bellwether for that residential construction industry, because we get people visiting us often at the beginning of their project. So when we're busy, you know, in 3, 6, 9, 12 months, the builders, the fabricators, the installers, you know, refresh renovations, zones, landscaping, everyone are going to be really busy. So look, I feel very positive about, you know, the signs. That's not to take away from the obvious hardship that there is in, you know, in vast sectors of the economy, and both personally and from a business perspective. But from, you know, from the world that we see, I can sort of say I feel very positive about that aspect of it.
Yeah, and acknowledge that some people are struggling, but you know that they won't begrudge the fact. Thankfully, there are some corners of our economy which are going okay, and hopefully yours and the renovation and the landscaping game is for them. You know, that's what sort of did for the show. There's a wee bit of that. So the Home Ideas Centre. You're anyone near Auckland? You're in Auckland. You're in Parnell. Is that right?
Yes, we are. So we're on 165 The Strand in Parnell. So we're just off the waterfront there. We've got the parking's free, so we've got 30 car parks. There's always plenty of car parking. But actually, if you and of course we're online, www.homeideas.co.nz. And we do. There are Home Ideas centres in Wellington and in Christchurch, if you happen to be in those cities, and you can find their details on our website as well, and see what's on display there.
Yeah, that whole side of things, but you obviously work closely together, given the fact that you're doing. That's really interesting. Can I come visit you? I'm going to come and have a cup of tea. I want to ride your point left. Okay.
Look, I think you should, Rawdon. And we've got the coffee's great too, and it's free, so we'd welcome you at any time.
Well, if you weren't offering coffee, you now have to, because I brought it up. So, hey, really good to have a chat with you, Hugh. And I think it's a great enterprise, and you're also doing exciting things with it. And I'm so delighted it works. It should.
Thanks so much, Rawdon. Great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Really good to see you. So that is Hugh McKellar, who owns and runs the Home Ideas Centre in Parnell in Auckland. I didn't even know it was there, so but of course I did, because I did my research for the show. But really, really interesting and well worth a visit. As you say, I love that idea of zero pressure. Just go and have a look, as long as you like, whatever. Get a little bit of advice if it's take away what you need, and away you go. Now, if you tuned in because you want to know if you have won for Father, the Makita blower, well, time for us to announce the winner of this. Now, the winner of the Makita blower, this is it. This is the $400 worth. This is unbelievably good prize, because it comes with the battery, comes with the battery pack. So if you want to collect other Makita tools, battery pack, you've got it already now. Plus, of course, you get the blower. And we were asked for your best dad joke. If you sent me this joke, you have just been drawn out of the hat for this. And the joke is, today my son asked, can I have a bookmark? And I burst into tears. 11 years old, and he still doesn't know my name, Keith. I think that's a really good joke. So, Karen, maybe. Very, very great. I think it's a great joke. See, if you didn't get it, can I have a bookmark? Of course you got it. And I presume, Karen, that you've won that for Keith. Anyway, regardless, congratulations. We're going to send that out to you. You're going to get the Makita kit. So well done to you. Now, the winner of the Amazon Echo is, and this is $149 worth. Kath, you told us that your dad's favourite colour is blue. Most of his clothes had some sort of blue in it, and your hubby's the same. Makes it very easy for shopping, doesn't it? So congratulations to Kath. You have won that amazing Amazon Echo Show, a bit of smart tech for the home. Now, because this is a special top 10 today, instead we've got some announcements to make, and we wanted to tell you about the winners of 2019 Refresh Renovation People's Choice Awards. Okay, this is what you chose. And there are 6 categories: full home renovations, exterior extensions, bathrooms, kitchens, and conversions. We're going to have a look at the winner, the gold winner of each of those 6 awards. Okay, first up, the gold winner for the 2019 kitchen renovation of the year. This is stunning. This is, well, congratulations to Dave Giorgetti, who we've had a chat with on this show. Now, this is from an Auckland villa, which had a modern kitchen, but it wasn't consistent with the aesthetic the homeowners wanted for their open plan living area. So Dave redesigned the entire kitchen for them, reworked it to achieve, well, these, you can see, simple, clean lines, adding much lighter palette than what was there, with warm whites in the cabinets and bench tops. Love those lights. They're just stunning. And we've seen this what's it called, the kickback, where by the stools before, that textured kickback. We've talked about that a couple of times on the show, and that's also the splashback above the sink. Stunning. Congratulations to you, Dave, on that. That's 2019 kitchen renovation of the year. The 2019 bathroom renovation of the year was won by one of our Australian cousins, Marcus Smith from Refresh in Melbourne. Marcus, well done. This was an original structurally damaged mouldy bathroom, transformed it into this. It is a thing of beauty. And the idea of the design is it complements the modern style of the house. And it's the fittings, which are so high quality. Feature a sort of feature period basin mixer. You can just about see timberline vanity there, polished concrete, plus those beautiful natural stone hexagonal tiles in the large walk-in shower. Great job. So congratulations, Mark. Extension project of the year. This was one, if we head down south, by Dave Dolphin in Queenstown of Refresh in Queenstown. And it's pretty obvious what he did there. Growing family, occasional overseas. This is a Wanaka home. They desperately needed another living space. So Dave went in there to extend out their ground floor, and he made room here on the left for that 4th bedroom, which flows into the backyard and includes all the luxuries, large walk-in wardrobe, loads of storage, etc. Really nicely done. The exterior project of the year. Well, we're going back to Marcus in Melbourne. Marcus Smith also won this. This is, it is stunning. What a great outdoor room. This is an 1895 Victorian home. They needed an update. Marcus went in, and they thought this was an unusable space. Seriously, when he walked in there, he saw what needed to be done. He saw the lack of covering roofing, which in Melbourne, of course, you need when it's either 40 degrees or pouring with rain. And so he designed this concept that would use all year round living out there and bring that real luxury out of the home. So well done there. Right, a couple more to go. The conversion project of the year. This was won by Auckland Refresh franchise, Chirag Ram won. And this is, he converted the garage. This was a garage into a home office. This is really topical, isn't it, given the amount of work from home we're doing at the moment. He started by creating a concept plan, followed by design and timeline and the fixed quote. It took 10 weeks to convert the garage into this space, including the new light and the custom-made storage, the office layout door, which I don't think we can see there. But that was 10 weeks work. Great job. And finally, the 2019 full house renovation picture of this, because this, here we are, this is, you may have just lost me, I saw us buffering. This is the full house renovation of the year, if you lost me. Mark Morrison from Wellington did this. It involved extending under the home to add a second story underneath the house. It focused on the exterior outside wall, the kitchen, the open plan living space. It took 9 months. The cost $725,000. That, by the way, is obviously a mid-project because they haven't quite finished the landscaping out the top. But you can see what a stunning outdoor job they did on the outdoors. It'll be very interesting to see what the kitchen and the open plan living space look like. So there are our 6 Refresh Renovation People's Choices Awards of 2019. Great job done. It is 2:30. I'll look forward to seeing you all next week on Tuesday. Have a great Father's Day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.